Hello and welcome to my new moon in Capricorn energy reading video for January of 2024. This is the first of two new moons in Capricorn this year. We're going to open the year with one and close the year with one. Last year in 2023, we had no new moons in Capricorn. The year before, we had two. There is some potency to today's new moon. The sun is in Capricorn, the new moon is in Capricorn, Pluto and Mars are both in Capricorn. So I just shared on my Guys Love podcast, this is a potent time for Capricorn energy. If you want to tune into that, I rambled for about 15 minutes about how I am setting up Capricorn structure in my own life, preparing for the magic of the consciousness shift that is Pluto in astrology, Pluto in Aquarius. So today in this video, we're going to pull some tarot cards and we're going to see what comes through. We're going to talk about the individual now, the collective now, and the highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle through the lens of Capricorn's new moon. Very exciting. I would settle in with a glass of water or tea or juice and just see what flows through for you as I read the cards with us together. The last new moon in Capricorn, which was December of 22, the collective now was ripeness. The individual now card was the source of all creation and energy. And the highest possibility was projections, which if you remember is like I put up a mask, you put up a mask, and then the masks are talking to each other. And so can we drop all that and just directly connect and communicate? That was the last time we tapped into new moon in Capricorn together. Last month in Sagittarius, there was a lot of nesting going inward. The energy was really like clarify, release, and then the highest possibility was the Chariot card. The Chariot was like, okay, full steam ahead now. Duality, the portal, if you remember the portal that was open, and like, can we dance between both realms? Of course we can. All right, so what is going to be present for us today? I am using the Lightseers Tarot deck. Oh, did you see how I threw those at you? The bottom of the deck was this Magician card, which I love because last month when I pulled cards for each month of the year, the Magician card was the one that I pulled for January. So I just feel like our guides are going, yeah, we've got you. We're totally communicating and sending you all kinds of magic. Are you paying attention? Okay, so let's look together. We'll do the individual now first and then the collective now. So the individual now for the new moon in Capricorn, like what is actually happening? I also feel like, I talked about this in the podcast, the Astro Butterfly article that she just posted talked about the new moon in Capricorn being almost like a new year, a time to set resolutions and intentions, like amplified. So I feel like that's the energy we're going to tap into. Individual now. So good. 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Let go of your burdens. Can you drop all the baggage? So good. We'll look at that together. The collective now for the new moon in Capricorn. The Ace of Swords. How cool is that? Brilliant illumination. And then the highest possibilities for our next lunar cycle. So from now through, I guess it would be the beginning of February when we go into a new moon in Aquarius. So then the sun, the new moon will be in Aquarius and Pluto will be in Aquarius. So it's going to be like another amplified, in my opinion, new moon. So the next lunar cycle, yes, 2 of Cups. How beautiful is that? The highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. You know what I see too when I look at all 3 of them together? There. So look how these 2 have lots of like browns, oranges, taupe kind of sort of colors. And then in comes all this color. So I feel like our guides are saying it looks one way right now. You're seeing through one lens right now, and we're about to move into a different lens we're using one palette of colors as an artist, and now we're about to bring in a whole bunch of different colors. But the common thread is the two hands joining, which are the same sort of color palettes as this, flowing us into this new brilliant watercolor magical vortex. I guess it would be like this. It's like these two colors flow us down, and then we step into this, which is so good. That's so exciting. All right, let's take a look together. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the time so I don't go too long here, because I do tend to talk a lot. Okay, 10 of Wands. What do you see? Let me put it where you can really see it. What do you notice first? I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what's happening here with her. You see the path she's been walking down the mountain with all those little milestone markers to show her where she's going. Her tired feet, the wind at her back pushing her forward. Poor little ox next to her carrying all her stuff. Doesn't this feel like how we are as a humanity right now? It's like, I'm going to carry all my baggage, and if it doesn't fit where I live, I'm going to get a storage unit, and I'm going to store it in there. And if that storage unit gets too big, I'm going to store it in another storage unit. There's a great video by, I think it's George Carlin. Years ago I saw it, and he was talking about that. He's like, I have so much stuff, I need to store my stuff. And then there's so much there, I have to store that. I feel like we could talk about that, physically. Like, I have so much stuff that I need to physically keep, which, I resonate with that. But there's also all the emotional and the spiritual baggage. It's like, we've been on this pilgrimage as souls in human bodies, and we just keep accumulating more and more and more and more. And it's like, ooh, eventually you're so weighed down by it. I think of, there was a woman who came to one of my new moon circles once, and I just adore her. She was like, I've read all the books. I know all the authors. I know all the platforms. I know all this courses of study. Like, I've read this one. I've read this one. I've read this one. And we would be sharing in circle, and I would ask for her reflection, and she would start telling me from all the different things that she'd been studying, how it all came together. But you could just see her mind. Like, her mind was just all these things, getting all the data and putting it into the boxes, and then delivering the content from the boxes. And I remember one time just saying to her, like, don't read another book for the next month until you come back to circle. Don't read any more books. Don't study anything else. Just be. Just breathe. Just communicate with nature. Like, just receive. Don't study. Don't read anymore. Like, so much. And I feel this for us. It's like we have so much baggage that we've accumulated. And I think sometimes there's a feeling of, I have to honor the work of all these people, or I have to respect those who've already done all these things. And it just becomes heavier and heavier and heavier. And so what if at this new moon in Capricorn, we can say, okay, I have received everything, like this card, the collective now. I've received everything that I need to know. All of it's in there. All the data is stored in all the different places that it needs to be. And in the moment that I need illumination on one specific thing, I can just, like Dumbledore, where he pulls the memory out of his head and he puts it into the little bin of water, remember? He like pulls this little silver thread out with his wand and then places it, and you can see the story. It's like, can we trust that we've already integrated all the information, the studies that we need, and in the moment that there's an application or an embodiment required, it'll land. It'll drop. And in the meantime, let's shed some of the baggage. Let's drop some of all the things. I've done this myself. Oh my gosh, it was so funny when I first had my daughter. I would take her to the grandparents' house, and at the time I was nursing, I had a book, literally a white binder, And in it, I recorded all the times that I fed her and the times that she pooped and her hours of sleep. Like everything was recorded. And I would hand them the book so that they could maintain while I was not with her. And I remember Grandpa Jer once saying to me, like, did you bring the book? Have you got the book with you? Like, we don't know how to take care of your child unless we have the book. And it was such an irreverent, silly way for him to poke at me that I could receive it and go, you're right. Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I doing this? I need to trust and surrender that we already know what we need to know. It's in us. It's like, what was the movie? Oh gosh, I can't remember the name now. There was a movie where the woman took the chemicals, the blue chemicals, and then it started to change her consciousness, her body. Oh, I can't believe I forgot the name of the movie. But she starts to access more and more of the power of her brain, and you see how everything is already in her. She just has to extract the energy, the nugget, in the moment that she needs it. There's another one called Limitless with, oh, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name. I was just talking about him yesterday with another friend. Yeah, but anyway, why am I forgetting all these things? But in Limitless, the blue chemical activates consciousness also for him. There must be something with this blue chemical. And so in the show and in the series that followed after that, there's a way that the chemical activates. It's like your system is scanning for exactly the piece of information it needs in the moment that it needs it, and then it brings it all together, and we have alignment, we have clarity, and so we act from that. I just did a terrible job explaining it, but I think you get the point. We don't need to carry so much of the baggage. We can start to let it go. And I think the message for this new moon is awareness. Awareness of the ways in which you do this. So some people, it's hoarding. Their houses are cluttered, full, too much stuff. On Saturday, I went through my whole office and just got rid of the stuff I don't need, the things I'll never read again, the books I'll never open, the pictures I already know, I've lived them, I don't need to have all these things up. And there is just such a lightness and a spaciousness in my room now. I can feel it when I walk in. You know, decluttering does that. It's like you've already walked the path, you've already lived all those lessons. They're in you. You don't have to hold on to the stuff in order for it to be integrated. All right, that was a very long ramble on that one. Collective now. Collective now. I know we've had this card before. Now, if you can hear it in the background, but I have St. Finnegan's album Divine on. It's so beautiful. I will be bringing that into the meditation space for sure. All right, so what I notice first is her eyes are closed in meditation. And I feel like in meditation, or in that ability to like pull all of our power into ourselves, close our eyes, shut out all of the stuff, the external stimulation, and like come in, or come into our pineal gland, to our hippocampus, to like the core of us. What we need will be there, and it'll be illuminated. And then I feel like the illumination goes two ways. It's like source consciousness, our guides, will illuminate for us what we need to remember. And then that illuminated idea or concept will beam out in the ways in which we need it to. So it's like, right? Like an activation and a sharing that happens simultaneously. So collectively, I think there are going to be these like lightning bolts of awareness, of clarity, of ahas over the next month. Between now and the next new moon, Pluto is going to move into Aquarius. My microphone keeps dropping, so I'm going to keep shifting it up. We're going to be moving from Pluto and Capricorn into Pluto and Aquarius, and so there is a transition. There is a shift of the structure into the, which is the Aquarius energy, the way I feel it, the illumination of concepts of consciousness. And so it might feel like this, like when you close your eyes, as a collective, when we meditate, when we close our eyes and we go inward, we're going to have these lightning bolts, these illuminations of like something, that an aha that we didn't have before. We can get those just for ourselves. Some of us, I believe, are meant to share those as we get them. So you receive the illumination, you're like, oh my gosh, everybody needs to know this. How do people not know this? The whole world needs to know this. And so you create content, a video, you pull cards, you write posts, you create reels, like whatever it is, you share the aha when you know it's like clear, embodied. You've let go of the baggage, and now, and in that, I believe when we're in pure alignment with why our soul is here, when we close our eyes and meditate and we get these things and we share those things, someone else was waiting to hear that, and that's their aha. They read your post or watch your content and they're like, yes, lightning bolt, I remember that for me. And so the content, sorry, I hit the mic, the content that we create illuminates for others what they already know, but have been blocked, or they've been so busy carrying all the luggage and walking from place to place that there has been no time to meditate. There's been no space in their mind to have these ahas. So if you know you're here to be one of those that is delivering these frequencies, these illuminated energetics to the world, this is your message from the beings, the universe, through me, through my cards to you, to say, share the illumination. When you know it's pure, when you know it's in alignment, take the extra step and share it. Don't sit on it. Like, bring the ahas forward. The more of us who are doing that from a space of just pure alignment with our soul, the faster the momentum of this remembering, this awakening of humanity will happen. Consciousness will evolve like wildfire. Like the good kind of wildfire. I also was just thinking, as I was looking at this, one of the offerings that I am sharing now on my Instagram account, which is infinite.embodiment.in.gaia, I'll put the link in the description, is called Lighting Up the Grid. And it's exactly that. It's me bringing people who I really admire, leaders, thought consciousness leaders, into a live IG chat where we just talk. We talk about their story of being a soul in a human body, why they're here on Gaia, what they're here to contribute and do, and we light up the grid. We light up the grid with brilliance, with pure alignment coming together with other pure alignment, and then all the things. All right. Highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. Let's look at this card. I love the music that just came on with St. Finnegan for this one. What does this bring up in you as you look at this? Like, do you feel, can you sense whose hands you would hold? Or do you feel loneliness, like I don't have a hand to hold, or I don't have, it doesn't even have to be a partner. It could be a friend, a peer, a colleague, a neighbor. Like, is there a sense in you of, I don't have anyone's hand I could hold? Like, if I call someone right now, I don't know who I would call. If that's your experience, this is the message from your soul to you. Like, it's time to start building this. It's time to get engaged in life in ways that are going to really push your comfort zone. But this is the way of the future. Pluto in Aquarius is going to be about, how are you collaborating? How are you included in humanity? Where do you belong? Who do you belong with? Who are your people? And if you don't have them, this is the aha from the universe, from your soul to you, to say it's time to build this. And it's probably going to take a little bit of action on your part. You're going to have to get out of your house, get out of your neighborhood, get out of your job, get out of whatever you're in that's keeping you trapped and small. It's time to start building this. If you don't know how, Google, research, ask AI, send me a message, watch some of my videos. Like, you'll start to feel how to build community. You'll be inspired by something I say or someone else says. And you're like, oh, I gotta go listen to that video, or go participate in that event, or go join that gym, or go sit in that bookstore, coffee shop, and talk to somebody and say hello. Like, oh, I have to actually have the initiative to create something in order for this to start moving through my life. Join the online group. I have the Practicum community. Like, begin, do something. Start stepping into this human experience in a way that you haven't yet. If you watch this card, you see this card and you're like, I don't have anyone. It's time. Like, from me to you, it's time. From your soul to your soul. Let's go. If you are looking at this and you're like, oh my God, there's so many. There's so many. Whose hand do I hold first? Like, what a dilemma. What a beautiful dilemma you have. What a beautiful dilemma you have. So just pick one today and send them a little message or a note. I left a bunch of messages this morning, not knowing this would be the card. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're so amazing. Do you know how amazing you are? And I'm so happy you're in my life and that we get to collaborate and play in these ways. And like, love you. That's how we continue deepening into communication and connection and community. It's like you initiate energy. You open your heart and you're like, you're so great. I love you. And it's a genuine, like, I care about you. I care about you. And I'm so glad that we are walking life together. Sometimes when there's a lot of people, so I'll use my own story as an example. Like, I fall in love with so many people, and in circles especially, where I'm holding space and you get to drop in and we get to talk, and I actually like see you and can see the person, the soul, like all of you, and like my heart feels who you are. When I work with my clients, when I, in community events and I make new friends, like I feel it. And so sometimes when the circles end, or the client contracts come to a completion, or I move locations and I'm no longer in the place or the event or the, job or whatever that I was in before, it's been hard for me to keep communicating as consistently as I would like with all the people that I care about. But it doesn't mean I don't love you anymore. It doesn't mean I don't still feel this. And the moment I get a message, or you share on a comment, or we meet at some event again, I'm just like, oh, you, like, I love you. This is so fun. Like, catch me up. What's been happening? What's going on? I have so many clients who just send a random message when something big is happening in their life. And they're like, gotta tell you. I'm like, oh my God, that's so great. That's so incredible. Like, what a milestone in the journey that you're taking, because I've been with you from here to here, and like, look, life can be that way. It's not, I have to carry every single moment of memory, of relationship, of connection with me. And if I don't carry it with me, you're not going to feel like I love you. This is one of the greatest gifts that I've learned in the Alpha Femme experience, the year-long mentorship that I did through Melanie Ann Layer's work. She's like, I don't stop loving people just because they're no longer in my daily experience. Like, I still love them. And that to me is this card personified. You do your magic, I do my magic. We come together and we co-create something beautiful, and it fills your cup, it fills my cup, and we keep going. And maybe what we don't see is there's like 50 billion, maybe that's too many, million other moments where we're all holding hands. And it's just this beautiful overlap. I feel like Pluto in Aquarius is going to say, what's your magic? Here's mine. Here's my magic. Do you want to dance for a little bit together? Do you want to co-create something together? And then we co-create, and then something new is formed, and people experience it and feel it, and then you continue and you do this, and I continue and I do this, but the magic that was co-created lives on. It never stops being like this live energy that's bubbling. So, highest potential. If you don't have this, it's time to start creating this. If you have a little bit of this, honor it, love it, respect it, like treasure what you have. If you have a lot of this, know that it's not going to end. There will be more. And all the ones you've already loved like this, know it, feel it, are better for the time that you held hands together. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. I'm also becoming very clear. I've kind of struggled with this for a while that, is it bad to be so positive or so, and positive isn't even the right word. Like, I'm genuinely excited about life. I'm excited about the work I'm doing. I'm in love with the life that I'm living. There's moments where it's stressful or I get overwhelmed and I'm tired and I'm cold and I'm hungry and I'm irritated and someone's upset me. And yeah, but for the most part, like, I am very excited about being alive at this time, about all that is happening. And there are ways that I've sort of felt like I need to pull back and not share as much of that or show as much of that and dim things a little bit because it's too much or it's too annoying or it's too fake, whatever, I have people tell me that. They're like, I didn't think you were genuinely like this until I hung out with you more. You're actually like this. I'm like, this is me. This is me. And at this new moon in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, about to transition, like, I'm not slowing down the joy that I feel. I'm not dimming my light anymore. Like, it's a time for me to shine and hold a frequency of light that others can calibrate to. Because there's a lot of pain and suffering and healing and contrast and duality that is being experienced at the same time around the world. And I feel like the pure transmissions of light that we can hold, that we can bring through us, help those who are in those places of duality to stretch and be able to hold a little more, to find the hope and the quiet moments of stillness and peace that they need in order to have the strength to keep moving through the times that are so challenging. So I'm going to keep being me, doing me, and creating magic. And yeah, I hope you come play with me. I'm going to stop this recording, create the extended, and then create the new moon meditation. Both of those will be available for an exchange of $33 if you decide you want to drop into the next level of connection with me. They're so fun. These meditations are 20 minutes usually. It's like stuff shifts. Everything that came up in the video somehow weaves its way through the meditation, and you really feel a sense of completion with the new moon energy. It's like, yes, like I am in alignment with these lunar cycles in a way that just feels so good, and that's what happens in the new moon meditation. So link is in the description. I will create all of this, share it later. I also encourage you to watch the Gaia's Love podcast called Capricorn Potency. There might be some nuggets in there of how Capricorn energy is playing in my life right now for creating structure that might give you some ideas also. Okay, so much love. I'll see you next month. Mwah.